number 1. Have another TVP because spawning in as the pink Protoss player to the top left-hand side of the map from Team Expert. Give it up, guys, if you're cheering on Scarlet. To the bottom right-hand side, the blue Terran player. Give it up for KeeN. KeeN and Scarlet here then. TVP is what it's going to be. Let's see what's going to happen. She actually used Protoss in a lot of her qualifying matches. She did switch to Zerg when she played Hellraiser in the finals of the qualifier. So she's been playing a bit of both as, well, Scarlet's going to start us off with a bit of aggression. She's got a couple of assimilators coming down in the main base. And she's going to be proxying a gateway. So first gateway proxied. Well, I mean, we'll see what exactly KeeN wants to do. He goes into a Marine opening, not a Reaper here early on. Obviously, this SCV going across the map is aiming to see if there's an expansion or not. And obviously, if there is not an expansion, well, that becomes problematic. Probe will be chased by this Marine. Another Marine might cause some issues if Scarlet wanted to set up shield barriers here early on. As you do see the Probe going to try and loop around from the Marine. Does manage to ring around the Rosie. And that Marine is chasing something which isn't even up there any longer. This gateway is going to be finished in just a moment or so. And there we go. A Stalker going to start to be chrono boosted. Well, this Marine has no idea about it. This pressure. Look at this, man. KeeN has seen all but the little corner of darkness here to the top side. One Stalker here poking away at this SCV. The SCV being chased at the moment. And we are just going to be seeing the SCV going over to the right as we're going to be seeing the Stalker. Picks up the worker kill right there. And we just see the next Stalker on the way. Well, the CC is being delayed. A bunker on the high ground. KeeN may already have given up the idea of holding this natural command center at this point. As we do have two Stalkers poking away at the natural. And Scarlet beginning to expand behind this. If she gets a cancel, well, what a lead this would put her into. Twilight Council coming down as well, ready for that follow-up blink. You have to imagine it would be blink with this many Stalkers in the early stages. And these few Stalkers here just poking, just prodding at the command center, working their way through this. You can see a few Marines pushing forwards, and they are going to chase those Stalkers away, trying to get a bunker down. We'll start to save the CC. The Cyclone Marines obviously going a long way to help out with this, as that wasn't necessarily the target fire she wanted. She is getting a lot of worker kills with this, though, remember, and Marines too. Okay, the CC will finish, but she's still okay. I mean, the CC was delayed heavily, which means that her next comes up around, you know, still ahead of the CC of the Terran, just slightly. So that's pretty decent as we're going to be seeing. I mean, just so much being done by these Stalkers. 6 STVs, 4 Marines. The bunker is just now about to finish. We're going to see one more worker going down. 7 SCV kills. Now Blink is on the way. Just to clear up some confusion, guys, we do allow race picking in this event. As long as players say their race before their match. So before vetoes, you can play a different race. So you can't switch, you know, from game 1 to 2, she can't go from Protoss to Zerg. But she can play Protoss throughout this entire series and then play Zerg throughout the entire series against Stats or against Bly. So it is very possible for her to do that, as we see. Well, Engineering Bay, just in the natural, is going to get picked off here in a moment. So it doesn't really do a lot to slow down work and mining. It's more just kind of keeping in track of where units are, at some point forcing units back over here. There's a couple more sentries just being warped in on the natural. Still just these Stalkers sat and looking to see if they can poke in towards this bunker. Bunker takes a shot or two. Siege tank, couple of Cyclones and the Marines going to be pushing forwards, and Well, pushing the Stalkers back right here, as we're going to see this pylon is starting to drop. A tank sieges. The Scarlet will fight this, but no blink just yet. Means she has to be a bit more careful than maybe she wants to be. She really wants to protect this pylon in the gateway. It's unfortunate that KeeN has found the moment to push forwards just before blink, because otherwise she would have been able to perhaps protect this pylon and keep on warping in. Now she might have to warp in at home instead. She has triple gates. There's not a lot of gates, but it is enough to warp in on. She already starts up charge 2. No forges. He's going to go into a Robo Bay. She grabs himself a Cyclone as well. Now blinking back once again as a few Marines jumping into this bunker. So a few Marines into the bunker, Robo Bay. Again, starting to build up right here as the Engineering Bay finishes behind the natural mineral line. Stimpack on the way up in the main base of KeeN as well here. So he is just going into that bio play once more here in game 1 of what is our 3rd series of the day, guys. Again, thank you for joining us in the WardiTV weekly Season 3 finals. It's been a bit of a longer day so far, some longer games compared to what we've been seeing on other days of the event. It's nice to see some longer games. You know, at this point, sometimes we're 3 series in, already start the 4th series. It's a little bit nice as we see the Double Forge now coming up. I mean, the Double Forge still so far ahead of an Engineering Bay of the Terran, or just +1 starting even, I suppose. I mean, it just means you Chrono Boost out those upgrades, you'll be 1-1 against +1 attack by quite a margin as well. So you're very comfortably going to have a 2-2 against 1-1 lead. That's a good part of the game. At some point, for a few seconds, you might even hold 2-2 against just +1, depending on how much you chrono and whether you do start that 2-2 on time as well. Chrono can be spread around a little bit, though. I mean, we see a Robo Bay coming up here. Robo Bay in the main base, extended thermal lance coming through. First Colossus coming out. But the Chronos, not on it just now. Obviously, maybe not the energy to spend, but I guess we'll see in a moment or so where that energy does go. It is being spent, actually spread between Colossi and on the Forge here, so a little bit of a combination. Again, just using these Stalkers to patrol around the front and to deal some damage. A 4th and 5th barracks now coming down as well in the main base. KeeN setting up here into just these extra racks and allowing himself to go into the 2 base. So what he was trying earlier against stats, it worked in one game. Didn't work in some of the others. Let's see if you can make it work. As we do have the Stalkers to the left-hand side, a few sentries, a Colossus gathering together. Marines and Marauders from KeeN start to push forwards here, so seeing what they can do. Obviously, an observer overhead is something which could be picked off. KeeN was very good at that against stats, and oh, the scan sees it. Scarlett doesn't realize the scan. Yes, she does, and she is going to get the observer away. Very nicely done. Puts it back into observer mode even. Look at that, the confidence that there isn't another scan there. KeeN. He knows it's there though, right? Very difficult to see like a still observer, but if you saw it stopping, or even if you just know it's roughly there, obviously you can watch out for it a little bit more, and then if you do see it, it's a big positive for you. Bio up the right side. Scarlet starts to take her 4th Nexus down to the bottom left. Templar Archives is starting up 2 here from Scarlet. Templar Archive starts on up, and again the 2-2 upgrades just on their way. Again with a Chrono Boost, it's going to be 2-2 against just +1 attack for a while potentially. Although right now I might want to be Chrono Boosting something a little bit different. Obviously the Forge is not as early as in Stats' games, but it does mean Scarlet has Colossi. I mean, we never really saw Stats getting out of Gateway unit production. As we're going to be seeing Templar Archives nearly finishing 2 as a Blink will get 1 and 2 medevacs. No, it's a tank that's targeted instead. And a bit of a riskier choice, of course, because there's that possibility for the tank just to be lifted as Scarlet realizes she's killed a lot already. Blinks a few Stalkers to the right side, just get the spread going. There's the next medevac going down. Scarlet picks up game number 1. A lot of early damage, a confident macro. That's kind of a rough idea of what's going on over the next few days. As we kick this off, let's see what's going to happen. We start down to the bottom right-hand side. Up a game in this Protoss versus Terran. It's going to be our pink player from Team Expert, Scarlet. Top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. Give it up for KeeN. Guys, if you're enjoying the tournament in particular, you can support it by donating on Matcherino. Top 4 players will get a cut of the prize pool. And, yeah, top 4 players get a cut of the prize pool. And, well, Obviously, the more money we raise, the more likely players are to play again in the future, and the happier Match Arena are to keep giving us money to run more events as well. Another great way to support the WardiTV Weekly is the subscribe option on the channel. The reason this tournament exists is because of our subscribers. Without our subscribers, we would not be able to fund our own series of events on a regular basis. This year we've given away almost $4,000 in prize money. Almost $4,000 of prize money in the WardiTV Weekly series. We've had 19 weekly events, and this is our third season finals, and there's been a bunch of qualifiers for season finals which have been prize pooled as well. So it's been it's been pretty crazy actually. Subscribers helping us to run events. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like season finals are like 7 days of content of 2 qualifiers, 4 groups, and a playoff day. So that's 21 days of content plus 19 days of actual weekly events. That's 40 days of StarCraft 2 content brought to you by the subscribers. It's awesome stuff. Yeah, base trade is awesome, guys. Ah, that's amazing. I mentioned base trade and everyone's like really nice for once. What happened? Did we finally ban all the base trade haters? You know what I'm saying? Usually when base trade comes up in chat discussion, it becomes people just like to complain, you know, and people think that because they're on a not base trade stream, they can bring up all the issues that they have with base trade or something. I mean, opinions are opinions, but people get pretty nasty with it for no reason, so... people. Twitch chats, you know, Twitch chat just thinks it can do anything. Reaper poking and prodding here early on Neon Violet Square, but not a lot found so far. It's just the 1-1-1 setup here from KeeN in these early stages. Getting that building, getting that rolling. Lots of taco stuff with the Cheer 5 coming through as well. Thank you very much for the Cheer 5, appreciate. All those bits add up, you know? All those bits add up. I think taco stuff is on a one-man mission to eventually reach the Cheer 5000 badge via sub 10 cheers. Or sub 20 cheers. It's a dedicated mission, but he's probably well on his way by now. He's been cheering little by little every day for a good few months. Like I say, it adds up. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. So we see the Robo Twilight opening here from Scarlet. Obviously, the lack of a proxy gateway means she's not going to get the early damage she got in game number 1. So she won't be playing with as much of an advantage this time. Let's see what can happen as we move forwards. Quick little shout out in the chat as well. Another sub coming in, Moash SD2. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. Some Wardy hearts in the chat, please, from Moash SD2. Appreciate the Twitch Prime, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we see these stalkers nibbling away on those rocks, a grenade will blast some probes around. And the stalker's going to chase that Reaper into a corner they're not going to get out of. So that Reaper does indeed die. Might have active a couple of Widow Mines inside going to be coming across. Coming all the way down towards the south, and we just see the probe leveling away on the right hand side of this, and the stalkers working their way through those rocks. Still interesting that she wants to open up this area. Maybe afraid of Liberators and tanks siege in this sort of space and wants more space to be able to move up through towards the third. I guess the idea is you don't really need that choke point defensively if you are going to be looking to defend the third base in general anyways. Again, Scarlet seems to like to delay the upgrades compared to stats. As you see that blink. About 75% of the way done, Robobay is coming up and about to finish. We are also going to be seeing Double Forge coming down on the natural expansion. Again, Observer is just set up out the front and see what's going to happen. See if anything interesting is going down here, as we do see the Double Forge from Scarlet. Still just on the way at the moment. Oh, workers in the middle line in the main. As Widowmine's doing a little bit of something here. There's also Widowmine over here. Scarlet seems to know about it. Even pulling that probe back to keep it alive. Wow, another Widowmine in the natural. Sorry, I was just a little bit slow to click it when I saw it on the mini-map. 16 workers down. KeeN sort of has a plan for this series, doesn't he? He loses game 1, and game 2 he kills loads of workers with Widow Mines and wins. And then we get a game 3, which becomes very interesting, of course. +1 attack. Stim pack on the way up. +1/+1. Forges on the way through. So you're going to be seeing the... well, Widow Mine going to burrow. Splits! Minimizes the damage. 6 workers in total. There's a drop in the main base at the same time as we will see this medevac's going to be chased to the point it will get picked off. No, it's got a boost to the left. Oh, but the blink from Scarlet will just find the reach to take that down. I mean, she's already taken insane amounts of damage here, though. 22 workers lost. And I mean, KeeN, how many Widow Mines did he actually give up for this? 5? Well, okay. This was, you know, quite the commitment. It wasn't just the 3 Widow Mines it was against stats. 5 Widow Mines is quite a few. And even been scared in towards this kind of smaller third base in the back. But he has got a third base worth mentioning. So 3 CC before going up to the 5 racks here this time. A little bit of a difference for himself. 2 medevacs out through the top side of the map. On their way across to see what they can perhaps do here in the next few moments. Couple extra gates dropping down from Scarlet as well. And just continue to set up in toward this as the combat shield's just over halfway done. Advanced ballistics on the starport as well, getting that liberator range. In the next few moments, as Marine's going to stim and a hallucinated Phoenix will go down rather quickly. 4th command center begins to build. Again, the macro setup here from KeeN just continuing to blow up a little bit and really just embracing kind of the macro life this time around after dealing so much damage early. Not even being overly aggressive, trying to push across and to get something done to take advantage of what was killed early on. Again, Scarlet's 2-2 is much slower, but she has much faster tech beyond gateway units, so all those Colossi adding up will go a long way to help against all of those bio units. And it makes it very powerful as well, and she's still going to end up with 2-2 against 1-1 for a fairly reasonable amount of time here. You know, even if it's a minute, minute and a half, that's a long time where she can manipulate into a very aggressive position which can force a fight perhaps. If not a 2-2, I mean 3-3 is also going to be a possibility as well. She'll lead on those upgrades as well, as long as she doesn't skip out or lose the forges at some point. Honestly, with the forges and the natural, they're pretty safe. I mean, it's very rare that a drop's going to find their way in here. And Scarlet's a little bit too good to just let an attack stem up this natural ramp and kill both forges as well, right? So, in general, Scarlet looking okay to macro on. Templar Archives building from Scarlet 2 will open up again another range of kind of tech choices here. I mean, mostly in towards Archons maybe initially, but might actually just go straight towards Storm, I suppose, now. It's been quite a common way to go in PvT. Straight into the Storm, a couple of Immortals being added in beyond the Colossi which have been made. There's a couple of Marines in the front we're going to get picked off right away. And Lib Range is finished, and the Liberator count is what KeeN is going to be building towards now. So building towards a lot of Liberators, we're going to see these Stalkers fighting with the Marines as well. Obviously has the Blink available to get back if required, and just getting some free pickings so far. Lost an Observer in the fight, but picking off a few Marines to try and just make up something for the trade. Scar just using the map control, using the APM in some way while she can. Nice blinks back with those damage stalkers again. We're going to see a Widow Mine picked off. I mean, that's a nicer pick off as well, of course. Widow Mine's not as effective as they once used to be because they get revealed after the initial shot now, but I mean, you can still get a couple of good shots. It can still help to zone units out, as you can see how much KeeN thinks of building further Widow Mines. Factory lifted, moving around the center of the map. It's not going to survive as Scarlet blinks the Stalkers on 2 health and 1 health. Oh, one Marine just grabbing that Stalker there. Obviously, it was only going to take 1 hit, and it does fall. That's now to the right-hand side. So it's going to be Scarlet actually finding a couple of tanks in the back. Finds one. The second one gets saved by the lift. Going to kind of get a Liberator as well, trying to reinforce this army. Scarlet needs to be careful, though, because she's losing a lot of her Stalkers. And Stalkers are her only anti-air to help deal with this Liberator force, which really is stacking up in numbers. I mean, killing one of them was great and all, but she needs a little bit more. Now blinking away again. Those Stalkers aren't even finding anything over here just yet. Scarlet spreads out slightly. She does have now Storm finished. It's 2-2 against 2-2. This is the moment where the Terran would want to fight, when the upgrades are finally even for just a little while. Hallucinated Phoenix comes in and will just keep an eye on the army, just roughly get to know what is here, what is happening. One of these Liberators is going to sit behind this mineral line, which is always great as well. Very much so. Quite the frustration. 5 workers going down before Scarlet is able to respond. Oh, those 2 Liberators could have been picked off by a Stalker. Liberator in the main base also gets picked off, but it's 8 workers in total from the 2 Liberators so far. And those Liberators are still just trying to keep on pushing forward slowly but surely. Scarlet will try and wait for free. If she can take the fight with the upgrade lead, definitely becomes very possible for her to make this work. She will actually see those units starting to come back home. The Liberators are out on their own. What are they doing? Why are they over here? Liberators, no! It's a blink, and it's going to be at least 1 kill. Should be 2, actually, if she targets right, and there it is. 2 Liberators picked off, and I mean, KeeN going home is not a bad idea. Scarlet's about to hit free. He probably realizes this, and so he's backing away, especially as he gets a few ghosts up. Will pick off the Warp Prism with a few units. That's really nice, although those units will be greeted by Stalkers, and that means, greeted by Stalkers, it means the Stalkers will clean them up. And now Scarlet still has a little bit of potential to push on through. Bio is standing very far forward to line the claw side, perhaps to get a couple of initial trades. She blinks back now, though, not going to commit into it. Mobius Reactor and Ghosts on the way. KeeN really going to hit his late game stride in a moment. Scarlet, though, maxed out against the 176 supply. KeeN missing the final set of upgrades right now for a fight as well, but has the very defensive position with the Liberators. The one thing I will say is those Liberators are in a little bit of trouble when it comes to what if just storms drop on top of them. One storm here and there, those Libs are going to be taking a lot of damage right away, and I mean, a storm isn't quite half health of a Lib, but all of a sudden it becomes so much easier for those Stalkers to just wither away at them quickly and easily throughout the fight. Scarlet going to try and reposition here to force some interesting moments. There's a lot of EMPs used on these High Templar, gets 3 of them. I mean, takes the energy off of 2, and the 3rd High Templar gets sniped. Scarlet up on the high ground, Stalkers on the low ground. An interesting split here. As here we go, some Libs are going to start committing. Scarlet will back away mostly from this fight. Meanwhile, these Stalkers coming in from the other side might just go for the commitment. Meanwhile, though, KeeN just stims across the map. He obviously smells a chance and opportunity. Scarlet, she has the energy for recall, and she might just have to use it here. And there it is. The main army being recalled. Stalkers, some of them still staying to the northern side. There is a chance here to get some damage done with Liberators. And actually, to kill these ghosts as well could be good. She could catch this army kind of half and half. Scarlet sees these Stalkers now. Those Liberators blinks forwards. A ghost going down. Now some Liberators getting picked off too. It's a good few pickoffs initially. The Stalkers will have blink again in a moment. Scarlet chasing through the center now, cordoned off by the Liberator lines in the center. She can't really fight through that. She's walking forwards. I think this is a mistake. I don't think she's paying attention to the army. Big mistake by Scarlet. She loses a lot wandering into Liberators here. These Stalkers going across the map to do something. They blink to the high ground, able to get behind the mineral line, doing a little bit more damage. But she lost a lot wandering through those liberation zones mid-map. A few seconds of not paying attention to the army, and suddenly so much has been lost, and now Lib set up a siege position on the 3rd. A siege position I don't think Scarlet breaks out of here very quickly at all. Bio starts to work its way through this Nexus, as we do see Stalkers picking away at Marines. A couple more Marauders going down. But Nexus has fallen as KeeN going to take down another cannon or 2. And continue to work his way through this. A couple more cannons dropping, and we do see, well, Stalkers finally cleaned up as well. Scarlet's supply is still up there, but how do you fight these Liberators? Maybe blink forwards now when you can get out of range. There's the storms we were talking about as well. Some EMPs came down to help. It's not going to be enough. The Liberators, a few of them got low, but look at the supply disappearance. Scarlet's Tempest come into play, but just way too late. And she was behind in this game. She tried to make something work. She had some great moves with the armies, but again, at one point, the multitasking slipped for just a couple of seconds, but it was a big slip-up. Wandering through those liberation zones is not something you can afford to do. And now Scarlet is not going to have an answer here. Continuing forwards, the natural expansion will be falling very shortly. The single Tempest is not going to save the day. Viking production starts. Zealots again choked up in this little area here of these little choke points. GG is called, and it's 1-1 between KeeN and Scarlet. KeeN is making... It was a busy one, wasn't it? It was a busy one. Well, if we're ready, guys, let's introduce these people in the map. As we're going to be seeing something cheeky once again here, it seems, right away. To the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on KeeN, fighting the good fight for the Terran. As to the bottom left, our pink Protoss from Team Expert, Scarlet. Well, first probe nibbles at this SCV for a moment or so as the SCV moving across the map. We'll not see this pylon right away, and Scarlet looking as though she might go for... No, it's not going to be a similar open at all. It's going to be the Stargate and the Gateway, actually. Okay, so I'm pretty sure from Scarlet here, this is going to be kind of a shield battery, kind of Void Ray all in. I don't feel like Proxy Oracle is something you really go for anymore as KeeN coming into the main base. So what does he want to see here? Well, obviously one of the main things is going to be the double gas, the lack of a nexus, and only one single pylon initially is a very good telltale sign that this is going to be a proxied play. You know, a second pylon already has to be down to basically allow Scarlet to be up here, so this pylon is the third pylon, so you're basically just looking for the lack of that second pylon, which obviously goes a long way, as we're going to be seeing this engineering bay going to be picked away at. It's probably going to be going down over the next couple of moments, so engineering bay will get cancelled there. And now we see this Void Ray of Scarlet is just about halfway done, actually. So, Void Ray about halfway done. Like I say, I think the Void All-In is the one that we're expecting to see mostly. Already a bunker for KeeN on the low ground. Cyclone on the way. Obviously, one of the big ways to defend this in the past used to be the Widow Mines. But that's not going to be the way KeeN can really deal with this now. The problem is the Widow Mine just, you know, used to not really have detection with this build apart from an Oracle, which then slowed down Void Ray production, so it's kind of worthwhile. Nowadays, you just kind of sacrifice like a Zealot or a Stalker, and boom, all of a sudden you can kill the Widow Mine, and that's completely great. As Scarlet probably going to build shield batteries on the low ground, give herself a way to engage properly here. Just a way to engage and to keep on fighting. There's a shield battery going to start coming up. Again, interesting that KeeN's already setting up so defensively on the natural. Let's see how this continues through, as I'm just going to be seeing the Stalkers gathering together. Cyclone is about to finish up in the main. So Cyclone finishes another bunker. That's 4 bunkers in total right now for KeeN. So, I mean, he needs it, really. He really does. The great thing is that he's going to defend this on 2 bases. And it looks as though he might defend on 2 bases very confidently, which is going to make quite a difference, honestly. His shield battery is going to finish. Here he goes. Scarlet will start a fight. There's the shield batteries will keep this Stalker healed up initially. It's really doing a good job. Now onto the Void Ray. But Scarlet's not even going to really break the first bunker. 4 workers killed. She's still committing onto it, but the shield batteries are out of energy. 2 more shield batteries start to build, but the pylon is in trouble. Another shield battery. Well, Scarlet needs a pylon more than anything else. She loses the Void Rays. KeeN is going to defend. He's going to deflect. He's going to make this work, it seems. Shield batteries are going to keep on going down. I mean, there's not even a pylon here. Scarlet realizes it. She is starting to build a Nexus back at home. This Void Ray going to try and do a little bit more. Does get a Cyclone, but this is a lot lost. 2 Stalkers still moving around this side, and we are going to be seeing the pylon here. Going to get picked off as well. Another Void Ray going to get cancelled there, and now we're just going to be seeing those couple Stalkers of Scarlet. Also going to get picked away at. Marines and Cyclones pushing those away through the center. And Engineering Bay on the mineral line as well here. I mean, honestly, just a counterattack from KeeN is going to be very difficult to deal with. I mean, the Stargate unpowered. A single Void Ray in the main base. Well, there's a Cyclone. That's pretty much going to completely put an end to this. The Marines are pretty good anyways. With a Cyclone too. I mean, okay, the Void Ray may survive, but so what? As we see the first 2 Cyclones arriving over here. Shield battery isn't ready. Now the Marines are here as well, and well, you can just fight the Stalkers. It's a cancel on the shield battery. Scarlet's attack has not worked at all. KeeN holds it with just mass bunker on the low ground. Made it look simple. And, I mean, I think just the super early bunker to begin with went a long way to helping out with this one. As Marines will push up this ramp, the Cyclones too. I'm going to see those couple of Stalkers continue to get picked away at. 1 SCV goes down and a couple of probes going to get picked away at too. There's 1 Stalker falling, a second Stalker too. I mean, even if this is cleaned up at this point, Scarlet's losing workers in a game where she's already trailing. I mean, the Cyclone's going to get a Stalker as it tries to warp in. Might even just turn onto that low health Stalker. Gets 2 more Stalkers there. 7 probes with this overall attack. Scarlet. Scarlet, Scarlet, Scarlet. They're so great in game number 1. Games 2 and 3 fell apart a little bit, and she's going to pick up her first loss of the day. And this really puts her in a rough position moving forwards. First she has to play Bly, then she has to play Stats. I mean, the Stats games are going to get very interesting here. Could really cause some very interesting scenarios, I think, with how things might go. Marines and Cyclone going to pick off that warp gate. just clean up the map, and obviously at this stage, KeeN is looking pretty darn good. A few more Marines just gathering up onto the natural, and we're going to see again these 2 extra barracks of KeeN finishing up in the next few moments for 5 racks in total. Why take a third CC if you can just be in such a lead that you can 2-base it to victory right now? And as we do see the double forge, the blink starting up, but it's also late. I mean, of course it is. The way this game has gone, nothing's going to be on time for Scarlet. And that's the issue, is Stimpak, Combat, +1 are all well on the way for KeeN. Scarlet is barely getting going with her tech, with the tech she needs to survive an attack. And as 2 medevacs start to come on out, they'll boost across the map to join this army, which is moving away down towards the lower left-hand side. Scott's going to pick up a loss in the first series of the day. It's going to be Scott and Bly at 0-1 in the group. They're going to play next to see who will be the first to go 0-2. And then Scarlet will play stats to see what the scoreline goes there. I mean, KeeN's going to end up being 2-1. So there is some potential ways this goes. I mean, it could be a set of 2-1 tiebreakers. It could be a set of stats could go 3-0, and it could be a set of, I guess it can't be 1-2s if KeeN goes 2-1. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a possibility of an 0-3 in this group and someone to go, the other guys to go 2-1 to tie things out. You see medevacs arrive, and then this was the push we're talking about. I mean, the lack of a third Nexus is obviously just straight up one of the things that Scarlet's, shows how far Scarlet is behind in this. I mean, no third Nexus at all. KeeN was there to try and cancel it. And now into the main base we go. The first drop. More units rallying through the center as well to back this up. Already a pylon power in a gateway or 2 is going to go down. And another pylon to the side, perhaps really just stim forwards. And is going to target down these sentries. Guardian shields are going to get denied. And at the same time, stimming into the natural. Scarlet loses out, and KeeN takes this game. 2-1 victory. KeeN is going to be in a good position to advance through from this. With this 2-1.